Hey guys, so for today's video I will be going and telling you all the books that I have not yet read on my TBR. So this is basically my physical TBR. I have worked out how many books I have in total, which is 145 books. So hopefully my actual physical TBR is not that big. Okay, my camera just fell, but that's fine. I've got the first book that's on my TBR. However, it is a series and I've not read any of these books, so this is 8 books technically, which is A Throne of Glass. I keep calling this a Game of Thrones. I do not know why. Physically do not know why, but I have not read any of her books yet. I'm pretty certain with this book you have to read the Akata first, and I'm not entirely sure. So I'm putting this way too low down. I think you have to read Akata first before reading this series. I'm not entirely sure. I do need to actually properly research that, because at the moment I'm not reading this book because I don't know if I need to read the other series or not first. But this is the first 8 books that are on my TBR. So now we are going down to the next shelf and I will show you guys which books are on my TBR for this shelf. So I have Harry Potter series. I have read the first 2 books, which means I've got 3, 4, 5 books left of the series. Obviously this next one that I need to read is The Prisoner of Azkaban, and then so on. So 5 more books for this. The next book series, half of these are actually book series, so that is which is The Hunger Games. Ignore the fact that this is like falling apart. I did buy this like 9 years ago, but I have not read any of the books, but I only own 3 of the books. So it's another 3 books that are on my TBR. I do actually want to get to these at some point. The next one is another series. However, I only have 1 book on the top shelf of this series, which I will show you guys what it is. It is a Game of Thrones, but I do have another 3 books of that as well, but they are on the bottom shelf. So I have 4 books for this. The Six of Crows duology. Is this the first book in the series or is this the second one? In this series, I'm not sure if this is the first or second book. I don't know. But I have both of these. I do have both the books, so it's not actually the end of the world, but I do have that. I'm kind of like starting to change like genres and like into more genres and stuff, and I can't wait. It's so exciting. We've got Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies, and I have the second book in that series as well. So on the last stack I have the Caravel series, the first book of Red Queen, and Once a Broken Heart series, which will be 7 books in total. Let me move that over. The rest of the stack I've actually read, so yeah. So that is 7 books. So we've just done the top 2 shelves so far, and we are already at 33 books that I've not read. Yeah, that's a lot of books. The next shelf, I'm just taking all my Jellycats off because I do have a lot of Jellycats. So we've got the Elsa Silver Chestnut Spring series. I have read this book, however I've not read the next 4 books in the series. So that is 4 books that I need to read. And the next 2 books are a part of the series. I'm pretty certain this is like the 2nd and 3rd book in the series. I think there's a 1st and a 4th that I need to read. That's another 2 books that I need to read. So 6 books on this shelf so far. And then we also have The Flatshare by Beth O'Leary, and then we also have Clyde by Val, I don't know how you say your surname, my Binding 13 series. So I have actually read a few of them books. I've read 3 altogether. I've got the 5th and the 6th book that I need to read, and I am currently reading the 4th book, Anatomy, A Love Story. I am really excited to read that. I was meant to read it last month, but I didn't get around to it, so I will hopefully get around to that very shortly. The next 2 are quite small books. This one is actually a part of a series and I didn't realise, so I need to buy the first 2 for this series, which is The Wedding Witch. It's the X-Hex series, I think it is called. I'm not sure exactly, but I need to read that as well. And then we have The Flood, which again is a part of a series. I'm pretty certain it's like 6 books or something in total, but I've only got the first. So the first one is a Christmas one. It's called A Merry Little Meat Coop. This one is the Anti-Wedding Party Next to You. The final print is this one's not the right book. It's because of how I have them on there. I have them like so the next book's on the top that I need to read. Terms and Conditions, which is the 2nd book in the series, and then I've got the 3rd book in the series. And then I also have Love Unwritten. I have not read the 1st book, however it's just on the bottom shelf, so I'll get to that in a minute. I have already talked about these 3, so I'm just going to do them real quick, but it is the Game of Thrones series. I have 3 of them in total. Not sure what order they're meant to go into, but I'll figure that out when I get around to it. Next book, I got this one because it was in a charity shop for £1.50, and to be fair, I bought it and then like not long after I've been seeing people saying it's basically not a great book, so I don't know if I want to read it or not anytime soon. However, if I do, I don't mind because I only paid £1.50. It's not like I paid like loads for it, but it is the Priory of the Orange Tree, which I can't wait to read too. So this is more like an actual fantasy than a romantasy, which is most of my books are, in that genre sort of thing. Next book I've got is actually my boyfriend's book, but it's on my shelf, so I'm just going to show you anyway, which is The Free Body Problem. I haven't really read any books that I think this is sci-fi that I like in this genre, and I do want to try and like switch up genres. The first one is Nightbane. I haven't read this yet, but I also need to get the fifth book. God, they don't have 5 books, there's a second book. I do need to get the third book too, but there's a slight issue with that. I need to get the hardback because the rest of my books are hardback, and if I don't get a hardback, it won't match. And then the thing with that is, if the hardback's sold out by the time I get it, I won't buy. I have to buy the soft back, like paperback. I'll end up having to buy the paperback for the first 2, and then I just have 2 books of 2 copies that I don't even want, that I need to read from this shelf. Is The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I bought it so long ago, but I bought it because it had the gold outlines and it looked so pretty and I liked it. But yeah, that's why I got this one. Then this one is Richard Osman, The Resolved Murders. I actually have read most of his books from the First Murder Club, so I can't wait to get into this one at some point. It's Lights Out. I've wanted to read this for a little bit and I just couldn't find the first book, because this is the first book in the series. I'm pretty certain it's a series anyway. I just could not find it anywhere, and I'm so happy that I did, because now I get to actually read it. The Andy Weir Project Hail Mary. I have read the first book in the series, but this is the Butcher and Blackbird series, but this is Leather and Lark. I did actually really like that Butcher and Blackbird, so I can't wait to get into more of the series. Good Girls Die First. Then Twisted by Steve Kavanagh. I read one of his other books and I really enjoyed myself, so I can't wait to get into this. Next book is one of the books that should be on this shelf, which is A Love Redesigned. It's because I'm trying to film it for a YouTube video, but I've never actually got around to reading it yet, so that's why it's on that shelf. And I also got Lessons in Chemistry, so I've seen this and I was like, oh, kind of actually sounds really interesting, so I got that as well. It's The Cruel Prince. And then we got the second book in the series. I think this is the second book in the series, it could be like the third or fourth, I'm not sure, which is The Wicked King. Pretty certain it is the second though. It's Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. I've seen a lot of stuff about this. I'm not entirely sure if it's actually even any good or not, but I'm going to be trying to read that at some point. And then we've got Hamnet. Again, some of these I genuinely just bought because they're from charity shops and they cost me like £2 max. No One Saw a Thing. Another Christmas book which is called The Wish. Eleanor Oliphant is completely fine. Rob Rinder, The Trial. The Shadow and Bone that I was on about before. And then A Pen Dipped in Poison. And The Antique Hunter's Guide to Murder. The Shatter Me series. So I've read the first book and the first novella, and that's it, The Last Devil to Die. And then the next 3 books I am actually in the process of reading at the moment. So one of them is Stephen King. It's next book that I'm currently reading is Redeeming 6, the Mindfuck series. I've read 2 of the books so far. Okay, I've got all my numbers down here. So the first shelf is this, no, not this shelf, sorry, the first shelf, which is off camera, you can't see, which is the Front of Glass series. I've got 8 books I need to read. This shelf I've got 22, this shelf I've got 20, and then the bottom shelf 43. I did add a couple books that I didn't count originally in the shelf, but I have counted. So in total it's 93 books that I need to read, which is a lot. I think when I started this year I had about 80, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna like try and half that. I've seen that there's added more, and I have read a lot of the books that I think is as well, so I don't know how that's gone around, but I am gonna try and still read. Like let's say I'm going to try and get it down to like 60 by the end of the year. I think that sounds about okay. I don't know if that's actually going to happen though. So my goal is I need to read another 26 books, so I need to get it down to 60, and that's like a lot more than that, but anyway, that's okay. But that is all of the books that I need to read at some point. And with the books that I've shown you guys, if there's any at all that you guys want me to read, or you think that like I will enjoy, comment below which ones and I'll try and get the 10 ones sooner. But anyway, if you guys enjoyed this video, just do like a little thumbs up, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next week for a brand new video. Bye guys.